And we have some people here already. Just let me get my chat up. Bear with me 1 second, fellas. My God, we've got a few people here. Jack, first in for a change. Yes, Jack, what's happened to you? You've become so much more punctual. Glad you could make it, mate. Jim, I am in the house, Jack Star, and I've already liked. Well done. That's what we're looking for, Jim. It's amazing. We got 2 people in, but we got 4 likes. Someone must come in and pop the like and then go back out again. God bless them. Hey Jim, how's tricks from Jack Star? Jim, all good, thanks. Jack Star, I've got a caller today. Jack Star, bit gutted. That shower shit Man United won. Did they really? Who were they playing? I know we didn't win. We're going down. Jack Star, it's cold here, pal. What, in where? Did you make it back to where? Jim, yeah, we're going central London today, but changed our mind because of the weather. Jack Star, I'm still up in Cheshire, heading down the farm in the next few weeks. Well, there you go. You've already answered the question. You are in Cheshire, a lovely part of the country. Well, there you go. Don't mean to interrupt your conversation, but talk to me. I'm here now. And we have 4. And we have 7. Wow. There you go. Mother, I've made the big time. But no one's talking to me. Jim and Jack don't want anything to do with me. They want to talk to each other. Who is there? Speak now. I've got to be a bit quiet tonight because Ellen's daughter is staying with us, and apparently I can talk louder, but she's in bed next door, so I'm not going to shout. I'm not going to get too excited. And Ellen's on the floor eating, drinking her coffee. I'll tell you about that. No, I won't. Here we are. Jackstar, I'm still in Cheshire, heading down to farm next week. Why the change in plan, mate? Well, don't want to pry. I thought you were going down over the weekend. Rob Sampson, what's up? Hey, Rob. Glad you could make it. Jim Pendergast, hi, Simon. Any bingo? Any bingo? I'll tell you what. People keep asking about the bingo. What I'll do next week is I'll get some balls and we can play bingo online. We'll do it in the live stream. No, we didn't go on Tuesday, mate. Ellen was too ill to go to the bingo, but apparently she was well enough for a massage, or had to have a massage, because it was the only thing that could cure her. So we went up to Valencia and had a massage. Actually, I'll be doing a vlog on it. Well, I've done a vlog. I've just got to edit it. A week in Doomageti. Rob Sanson, perfect timing. There you go. I am a people pleaser, Rob. Now, listen, guys, help me with this. Help me with this. Jim Pendergast, cannot believe I have 2 crowns. I can believe it. Rob's got 3. Jim's got 2. Yeah. Oh, Jackstar's got the number 1, though. Jackstar always has the number 1. He's numero uno. It's his regular position. Right. I have a video, a vlog, which I must edit, which is a week in Doomageti, what we did in 1 week. What do I call the damn thing? Because I am crap at titles. And whenever I put out a vlog, like, you know, a weekly vlog, no one ever watches the bugger. The only time I've ever got views on one of my vlogs is when I called it The Reality on Living of $1,000 a week. So help me out, chaps. What is going to catch people's attention? It is a week in Doomageti. It's basically what we did from Monday through to Sunday. People who like vlogs will like it. But if I don't get the title right or the thumbnail right, no one's going to watch it. So I need some advice. And we have 9 here. And only Jim and Jack and Rob talking to us. Come on, the rest of you, don't be shy. Give it a try. I got bloody tired tonight. I wasn't really in the mood for this, but woke up at about, what was it, 1 o'clock. Wasn't going to go to bed. Going to stay up all night, but I was exhausted because I got up early this morning. Woke up 1 o'clock and I felt something run across my foot. And I thought, oh my God, what is this? And I was hoping it was a gecko, because I don't mind geckos. But I jumped up and I put the light on and I was looking around the bed to see what it was. And then Ellen woke up and said, what are you doing? And suddenly she screamed. And there was a a cockroach running down her chest. I can't stand those things. It's the first time we've ever had one in the bedroom here, and I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight. I have a terrible phobia of cockroaches. Jackstar, a week of hell in the fields. You know, that could work. That could work. Something like that, yeah. Because you're onto something there, Jack. Might refine that a little bit, but yeah, if you say a week in Dumagetti or how, or you know, anything positive, no one's interested. But you make it out to be terrible, people watch. Jackstar, or was it? No, it was all right. It was just a normal week. I mean, Ellen was sick one day. I mean, I just hadn't done a vlog for what. It's the same kind of stuff I've done before. It was just where we went, what we did. You know, but what else can I do? It's not like we're going or traveling anywhere at the moment. So, and I haven't done a vlog for a while. Jackstar, bollocks. Liverpool 1 down already. To who? To who? Jim Pendergrast. Normal week in Duma. Yeah, no one will watch it, Jim. No one will watch it. I've tried that a day in Dumagetti, or you know, night out in Dumagetti, or a week in the Philippines, or whatever. You're lucky to get more than 600-700 views. So the one I called the reality of living on $1,000 a month, I put like a ramshack shanty town in the background. They got 4,000 views because people want the horror stories. You know what I mean? Jackstar, Brentford 1-0 up. Wow, mind you, I went to watch them a couple of weeks ago down sideways. Some English friends of mine when they were playing Man United, and they went up 2-0 up then. And I thought Liverpool are going to, not Liverpool, Brentford are going to wipe the floor of them, but they didn't. Ended up in a draw. Was it a draw or was it a 2-1 defeat? I can't remember now. But either way, at one stage it looked like they were going to put 5 past them. Shaney 7766. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Shaney. Oh, delighted you could join us. Are you still in Canada? How the devil are you? Jim, I have the same phobia regarding cockroaches. Yeah, they're horrible, aren't they? Horrible. Cockroaches and earwigs. Basically the only 2 things I have a phobia of. Don't mind any other insects, although I'm not keen on those bloody millipedes, those big things. I don't think anyone is. But anything else, you know. Rob Sampson, have you ever heard of the saying, when the world ends, the only thing that will be left is cockroaches, and Keith Richards? I've heard the cockroaches bit, yeah. Apparently even they won't survive the nuclear winter. Keith Richards probably will, though. Jim Pendergrass, my local team, Brentford. Are you a Brentford fan, are you? Someone asked me that the other day when I was watching the game at Sideways, and where is their new stadium? And I said, I don't know, actually. I've never been there. I've been to the old one. Where is the new stadium, Jim? Next, Halloween, a Hell Week in the Fields. Yes, you've got something there, Jack. Jack, yes. If I'm going to put it up to speak, I should tie it in with Halloween. Yes. Somehow, Halloween. Yep, get it there. Shaney 7766. Yes, sir. We got Blue Jays fever here in Toronto. Yes, I don't know why you're calling me sir. Don't call me sir. Call me Simon. Call me whatever you like. Just don't call me late for lunch. Yeah, how did that game went? Because last time we spoke, you were going to the game. Did they win? Ricky, as a proper Cockney, I support Millwall. Well, we've all got our crosses to bear. I won't hold that against you, Ricky. You've clearly had a tough life if you support them. But there you go. And I know the old story. It's the proper Cockneys. It's the proper Cockneys. Yeah. I get that. Never claimed to be a Cockney. I have never claimed to be a Cockney. People assume I am. But apparently I was reading a thing the other day. Bow Bells, you used to be able to hear it within a 3-mile radius, but now they've built it all up. You can't hear it more than half a mile. So, given how built up it is, I don't mean there are any Cockneys anymore. Not being born anymore, anyway. Honestly, uninterested. Trading my car in for a mini camper van this week. Come spring, are going to save money and avoid high rents. Well, good for you. It's the well, you said you got a bit of traveller in you, so life on the open road. Good luck with that. Cheney 7766. Yes, now it's Blue Jays versus the LA Dodgers for the championship. Which championship is this? It's not the World Series, is it? I mean, do Canadian teams play? I know nothing about baseball. I know they have a World Series, and it's like only them and maybe Canada that are playing it. So I don't know how it's a World Series. But mind you, they do play baseball in Japan, don't they? And Cuba. But I don't think Cuba plays in there. Jim Pendergrast. Old Ron Griffith Park, new one near Kew Garden Station. Oh, is that where it is? Jackstar, I have shares in Millwall. Really? Well, if you've got more than £100 in there, you're probably the bigger shareholder, mate. Got to be careful what we say now. We might lose Riggy. And we don't want that now, do we? Because I've only got 11 people here. Shaney 7766. The ticket's so much now, though, cannot go tonight. 1,500 Canadian dollars. Yes, World Series. There you go. You've learned something new. I had no idea that Canadian teams played in the World Series. So you could call it the North American Series at a stretch. But I think Mexico doesn't play in that. Why have you got shares in Millwall, Jim? Are you friends with Theopathetus or something? I don't. That seems a strange. I know you have a diverse portfolio, but that seems a strange thing to invest in. Ricky, Millwall is one of the last non-corporate fans-based clubs. Yes, well, yeah. Although, given there are rumours, I was watching a couple of things the other day. We might be going that route. We go down. There are talks. There will be a West Ham AFC, and apparently some of the supporters clubs are looking for a ground that we might move to and start again to get away from Sullivan and Brady. But I can't see it happening. To be honest, I don't like Millwall, as I'm sure you don't like West Ham. But as I have grown older, stopped going to the games, the dislike has mellowed a bit. You know, yeah, you're all right. Probably dislike Tottenham a lot more these days. But it will still be the rivalry, West Ham Millwall. So that's never going to go because you went back to work. You broke the strike. You hadn't done with a one. Jim Pendergast lost my bloody crown. Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. I've not been to the new den. Been to the old den. Robert Crusader. The World is a newspaper that used to sponsor, just like the UK news of the World Darts Championship. Is that right? Didn't know that. Didn't know that. Well, that makes a bit more sense. Shaney, sorry, Mr. Jim, I needs my tiara. Oh, yep, she's got it. Shaney's got it. Shaney's got. I'm amazed, Jim. The way to do it, mate, is just talk. Unless you make a donation, because that jumps you to the top. But if you don't do that, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying it's just based on comments. So if anyone wants to be, I don't think you'll ever surpass Jackstar because I think his one's nailed on. But yeah, just talk more. I think that's how it works. Jim Pendergast, sorry, meant Kew Bridge Station. Right. I can say, is there a Kew Garden Station? I was thinking that at the time. I thought for some reason it was near. I said that when they asked me the other day, I said, I don't honestly know. I think it's near Brent Cross, but I wasn't sure. Rob Sampson, what does the crown mean? The crown means it just basically how supportive or involved you are in the channel. I think it works on if people who make a super chat that propels them to the top. But if it's not based on super chats, then it's based on a number of comments. Don't know if it carries over from previous streams or whatever, but it's how active you are. And whoa, now I'm gonna make a prediction now. No one is gonna take Jack's number one tonight because Jackstar, the star that he is, has just cemented his place with an incredibly generous super chat. Don't know how you do it, Jack. Always a bit embarrassed by it, but always incredibly grateful. It's going to go in the Jackstar barrel. I tell you, mate, you will not have to buy a San Miguel when you come to the Philippines. That is a promise. Cheers, brother. Ricky, what do you think of the talk of the new digital ID? It's creeping me out. Seems Orwellian. Um, I'm not bothered by it, in all honesty. I can see it would be useful for two reasons. The last government, the Conservatives, they insisted on photographic ID. You know, they were the ones that said you had to have photo ID to vote. And a lot of people don't have photo ID. So in a way, that disfranchised a lot of voters, which was what they intended to do. So this will counteract that. And for me, as I've said before, I struggle when I go back to the UK to open. I struggle for ID because a lot of places need two forms of ID and they need, an address things. And of course, I don't have utility bills and that in my name anymore. I've only got my driving license with my address on it. So from my point of view, it wouldn't hurt to have another ID. But I totally get why a lot of people don't like it, don't like the idea of it. I know some people will say we fought war not to have ID cards. I hear, and I'm not degrading that argument. I totally understand why some people will be annoyed about it. But me personally, I saw it and thought, I'm surprised they're doing it. I would be surprised if it actually happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it dies a death and doesn't happen. But if it does happen, from a purely selfish point of view, I think it would help me. And if it means more people can vote, then I'm for it. How do you feel about it? Jack Star, how did the quiz go, pal? Yeah, went all right. Went all right. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, it's. I think we got a bit of footage for the stream for when I do the vlog. But the trouble with that is Ellen was doing the filming, so I don't quite know what she did. And at the end, she was doing a lot of filming of me, like handing the prizes over and doing my thumbs up as I have to do. And there's music in the background, so I don't know how much of that we can use. But yeah, it went well, mate. Yeah, the quiz has been doing all right for the last few months. There was a while back when I made the questions a bit too difficult, and I heard through the grapevine some of the teams had stopped coming because of that, some of the Filipino teams. So I wouldn't say dumbed it down, I've dumbed it down. I've tried to get it so everyone gets at least 7 or 8 points. And the same team still win. But since I've started doing that, more people are coming. But the next quiz on Thursday is a Halloween quiz. And I'm struggling to get Halloween questions because I've done it before, you know what I mean? There's only so many questions you can ask about Halloween. I mean, the others will be okay because it's I've done one round on monsters and horror stories and one round on horror films. And I'll do like, songs with monsters in the title. But questions on Halloween that I haven't asked before are running out. Mind you, most of the people are of an age, so they've probably forgotten last year's questions anyway. Rob Sanson, thumbs up. Jim Pendergrass, there is a Kew Garden station. Well, there you go. I am, I ain't au fait on the tube lines anymore. I never really was. I knew, like, when I was just on the Jubilee line, and I know the district lines, but I could never remember them all. Jack Star, I'm a good supporter of the channel and the community. Bloody hell, mate! You are a driving force. I should actually issue some shares to you. That's what we'll do. We'll do a thing because yes, you are the yeah, it's you, mate. Basically, you, and it's very much appreciated, Jack. And I'm happy you're here. To be honest with you, mate, I don't like pushing people to come into the thing, but it's nice that some of you have turned up. Maybe this time, 3 in the morning, is a more sociable time to do it. Shaney, Shaney, God bless you, sweet. You didn't have to do that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I will. I will. When is the game tomorrow? If I go out tomorrow, I'm not sure if I will. I will have a San Miguel light on you, and I will toast the Blue Jays. Thank you very much. I am humbled to both you and Jack. Very generous of you. Jim, looking forward to when you interview Jack Star and Glenn. So am I. So am I. I think they're going to be fascinating interviews. Well, I think I might have upset Glenn inadvertently. He made a very pert, short comment. I don't think I had to the vlog about Vitali, which is not your usual Glenn. Yeah, I hope I haven't. But usually get hi, son, blah blah blah, and an in-depth thing, and enjoy your weekend or whatever. All I got was he deserves everything he gets, or something like that. Unusual for Glenn. Jack Star's going to be a hell of an interview as well. Glenn's done a lot. Jack, I'm fascinated. Well, the thing about Glenn is I talk to Glenn on Facebook, from time to time, so I know quite a bit about his life story. But it's going to be fascinating. But Jack Star, apart from his helicopter days and a bit of mining, and there's a story there. I tell you, Jack Star, use cash, stop ID, as if you're not a model citizen, they turn off your access to cash, travel, everything. Yeah, as I say, listen, I didn't say I'm in favour of it. I think it will die a death, but yeah, I don't know, Jack. To be honest with you, as I say, I understand it, but can they stop it? I mean, unless that's gonna supersede the passport. How are they gonna stop your travel with it? I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot of countries have them, but I don't know. I've always thought it's a strange one, like in the UK when I had the security business, because we had a lot of door work places like that, and you've got to ask for ID, and you get done if the person is under 21. It was those days you didn't ask for ID, but they didn't. Most of them didn't have ID because if you don't have, how do you check someone's ID? So again, from that point of view, if there was an ID card, it makes it easier to tell if someone is of legal age, to go in a club or something. But no, I'm not in favour of big government. I'm not in favour of doing away with cash. I'd demonstrate for that if they try and do away with cash and make it all go cards. I am, for various reasons, vehemently opposed to that. I do wonder about the ID card being something to do with voting, though. Robert Crusader, if you're out of the country for $163 days of the year, you're not entitled to your pension contribution. Will you paid it or not when digital ID comes in, if they know automatically? I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Where have you read that? That sounds like a score, like fear mongering. Because you're allowed to go out anyway. You're allowed to. You're allowed to come to the Philippines. You can tell them or not, and you're allowed to stay out of the country. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know where you've read that, but I don't believe that. That would be the kind of thing that people would say to try and gather support against it, because that would make no sense, because we don't have those rules in the UK. Why would it make any difference? Jim Pendergrass, yes, Jack Star, looking forward to your interview with Simon. Jack Star, really, Jim? Yeah. Yeah, I am. That's going to be the good thing. I struggle for interviews, but if it all comes to pass, I know Jack hasn't put a date on it, but Tim's coming over, Glenn's coming over. Hopefully, Jack Star at some stage will get his ass over here. So yeah, that will make my interviewing very easy for a few weeks. I just hope no one turns around and says they don't want to do an interview, because that's happened before. I know when I asked Glenn before, because I was going to do them by Skype. He didn't say technically he could do it, but Jim Pendergrass, yes, Jack Star, looking forward to your interview with Simon. Yep. Gonna have to try and stay sober for that. We can't do it on the first day, Jack, because I've got big plans when you get here. Jack Star, when are you going to the Philippines? Jim's asking Jack Star that. Shaney7766. If you travel to Philippines, best using cash. Get some more than one bank card. I doesn't use credit card there, even from there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a credit card. I have not had a credit card in a number of years. I've got I don't like them anymore. I won't go into the reasons why, but that's caused me problems when it comes to hiring cars. But then again, I've never had to hire a car. But there's a couple of times I've thought about it and thought, oh, balls, that's going to be a problem. But we will see. Jack Star, I think, Robert, depends where your tax domicile is for tax purposes. But young Simon still pays UK tax, but hoping to change his mind. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, because I don't understand why it would make a difference where you are. Because I mean, like, we're not like unless they're going to change the pension laws, which I do not think they would. We're not like Canada or Australia or whatever. If you're retired, you can turn around and you can say, I'm moving to Thailand or I'm moving to the Philippines, and you still get your pension. If you go to the Philippines, it goes up, it remains index linked. In Thailand, if it freezes over there. But the point is, as soon as you tell them you're going, you stop paying tax. So why would they? I'm happy to keep paying tax and not tell them I'm going anywhere. What would be the point of them forcing me to not pay tax anymore? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's nuts. They wouldn't do it because you know, if they tried to do that, every expat in the UK would get a postal vote and they'd vote against it and they'd lose the election. Jackstar, first day, mate, I'll be meeting a woman, building a house, planning my marriage. See, you laugh about that now. You laugh about that now. Now, I'm not talking out of term here. I am quite good at keeping people's confidence. Well, I do. Someone tells me something in confidence, I keep it in confidence. I will not tell under any circumstances. I mean, I draw the line at torture. I'd probably spill the beans if I was tortured. But I have lost count on the number of people who come here and make jokes about that. I'm not going to meet a woman. I'm not going to do this. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying you will, Jack. But I don't know if you guys remember Lachlan, friend of the channel. I've interviewed him a couple of times. When I met him, he came here. He was not looking for a woman. That was the last thing he wanted. He wasn't going to get in a relationship. He wasn't going to do this. Then he met a woman, and that was blah, blah, blah. I thought, yeah, great. Told you this would happen. Lo and behold, he went back to the UK on Wednesday morning. And what's the first thing he has on Facebook? There she is, his girlfriend with her engagement. I mean, they're engaged to be married. They're getting married next year. So there you go. The Philippines has that effect on people. Shani 7766. My auntie in Canada needs to stay 6 months here to get healthcare. Yeah, I know. Canada has that rule. New Zealand has that rule. Australia has that rule. Although the Australia one is a bit different. It's not so black and white. I found it out from the old mate Ray, because if you work in Australia, as I understand it, Ray told me, your entire life until you reach retirement age, you can just leave and go and never come back and still get your pension. But if you've gone in and out before retirement age, then you're stuck in this ridiculous situation that you have to go back for 6 months each year or go back and live for 2 years consistently in Australia. Don't get why they do that, but that's the thing. But it is not a thing in the UK, and it better not stay a thing. Jim, Simon, clocks go back tonight. Do they? Oh, hold on. Where am I going? I've missed a bit. Shazia, oh no. Oh, now Jackstar, LOL, takes us time. Jim Pendergast, Simon, clocks go back tonight. Well, good to know. Doesn't really affect us here. Are they going back? Are they going back? So I don't get this, because you're 7 hours ahead of us. But if they go back, or 7 hours behind us, if they go back, yeah, you'll be 8 hours. I say, it's either 7 or 8. I thought it was going to go 6. I'm being stupid now. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, got it. I'm an idiot. Jackstar, mate, I've told you in strict confidence, don't tell anyone. Your secret's safe with me, brother. I will not tell anyone. I will not tell anyone. Let us know when you know, though, Jack, because I'm thinking about going on that thing to Indonesia and doing that teaching in January. But if you would definitely come and have flights booked, I wouldn't go on it. But I don't think I'll find out even to December whether it's an option or not. Anyway, and I haven't actually applied for it. I've got to do some stuff. I don't know if I want to do it. Shani 7766, but she gets pension no matter just the healthcares. Yes, ridiculous. See, I don't get that healthcare thing, because it doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, you know, some people are saying if you're out of the UK for more than 6 months or whatever, you're not entitled to healthcare back in the UK. But the reality is, if you go back to the UK and you like get run over or something, what, you're telling me the hospital's not going to fix you up? So you could be a Canadian citizen, you come over here, you still get your pension, and you go back to the UK, to Canada, and you say, I've just been diagnosed with cancer and I need this operation in the next month or I'm going to die. They're just going to say, no, die. You know, I can't see how it can be that black and white. I can see maybe you're not supposed to register with a GP or something, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I have to look into it more. Jackstar, Shaney, trust me, not going to happen. Just go divorced, happy, single. That's exactly what Lachlan said. That's exactly what Lachlan said. I have lost track of the number of people. It's like Greg. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but because that hasn't gone on Facebook. Cheney 766, 7766. I don't know why I can't say that. Okay, Sir Jackstar, good idea. Timmy, hello, champ. How you getting on, me old fruit? I'm getting on very well, Timmy. How are you, brother? What's the word on the street? Jim Prendergast, we are the same. Jan, looking at flights now. Don't think we'll go to Douma. So difficult to get there from our place, but you never know. You see, yeah, tease, Jim. You keep floating the idea you'll come over and visit, but you never do. You're like Jack. Imagine that the two of you turn up at the same time. Wouldn't that be fantastic? The three of us. Douma, get you, lock up your daughters. Chinese 7766. You need to be careful in the Philippines because they will overcharge you at hospitals for rich like people in Makati, Med St. Luke's. Get yourself healthy insurance. Don't think a lot of people can, to be honest with you, Shane. When you get to a certain age over here, it's not really financially viable. Most of the people I know are like 65 plus. They're all self-insuring because it's ridiculous costs. I mean, what my neighbour, I think he's paying like $3,000 a year or something like that for his insurance, and he'll still have to pay an excess and things. You know, it's I know, I don't know. My experiences of the healthcare over here is incredibly cheap, and it's been okay. But there have been so many people who've had horror stories. I'm not saying it's all like that, but the two times I've gone to the hospital here, I have been surprised, or the three times. I keep saying that I did that video saying it's the first time I've been to the hospital, and the second, but I thought, but it's not because I did go to hospital over in Sikihor when I had my ear stitched back on. Um, Wrong year, it was that one. Uh, yes, very cheap, very cheap. Um, Jackstar, Shaney, I've been on some good dates, but just don't want to settle. Got plans with business, so next 6 to 8 months hard work, and then fully retired. All right. Just thinking where Jack will end up. Do you see yourself in when you retire? And is that why you're coming here, boots on the ground, to check out a few things? Do you see yourself, Jack, retiring in one place, or do you see yourself moving from country to country, being a nomad? Because I think a lot of people, particularly people with money, that's what they'll end up doing. You know, have a place in the Philippines for a few months, have a place in Thailand for a few months. You know, I can see that becoming a thing. Robert's got me worried about this pension thing. I don't know why I am, because it's not going to be a thing, but it can't become a thing. It can't, you know, that cannot happen. They cannot do that to you. They cannot. And why would they? This is the thing I've never understood about the Australian and the Canadian attitude, because or New Zealand attitude as well. The reality is, and this is, I don't quote me on this, 96.7% of statistics are made up on the spot. But I remember reading many years ago that the average person who retires, who's earned an average income, within 4.5 to 6 years, they have taken out more in terms of pension and healthcare than they ever contributed. And that's why the system's in problem, because you need people with more money to pay. Anyway, so the point is, I would have thought countries like New Zealand and that would be happy if their citizens were over in the Philippines, you know, using healthcare over here and paying for it themselves rather than going back to their countries and using their health systems. You know, that's why I don't get it. I mean, if the people are over here, yeah, they're getting their pension, but they get their pension back in their home country, but they're not, you know, draining on healthcare and they're not claiming benefits and all this stuff. I do not understand what is in it for them to make people come back. I find it very strange. If they were of working age, yeah, but if they're retired and finished, why are they so desperate to keep them there? I just don't get it. Please give me an answer. If any of you know the answer, I'll be very interested to know. Shaney 7766. Nice, Mr. Jackstar. Jackstar might try dating guys as they seem always happy. Well, you have a lot more in common with a guy. that's the trouble is, they don't do it for me. That's the problem. Shaney 7766. But my auntie had strokes. I'm McCarty. Luck she had travel insurance, so expensive, plus many tests not needed. Because the G no can pay. Yeah, this is what surprised me when I went to my recent experience, because there were a lot of tests that they could have done. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been bothered if they'd done them, because it would potentially give you a bit of peace of mind. But I had always been told from people who've gone to Silliman and that here, you go in, you got a stomach ache, they want to give you a brain scan and all the rest of it, just to make you spend as much as possible. But when I went to Ace, the guy was like, well, we'll get a can't think what they call it now, an ultrasound, and then we'll take it from there. And I was, so I'm not going to have an MRI. And he said, no, what's the point? It costs more, just let's take it step by step. I was very surprised by that, because I was expecting to go for an MRI. And if he'd said it, I would have said, yeah, okay, fine. As he's not here tonight. Oh, good Lord, I shouldn't have said it. I can't remember his name. Our good friend in Siem Reap, Adam Fente. Adam was talking about blood tests. I might get some blood tests done here, because bloods, as he calls it. Why not? Because it's a lot cheaper here than it is in a lot of countries. Robert Crusader retracted his message. What did he say? Was it something offensive? Was it a misspelling? Always intrigued when people retract their comments. Jackstar, yeah, a few places, but fancy a few months a year in Texas. Really? Why Texas? That's interesting. I say, you'll know, because you watched Channel for a while. I thought Vegas would be my place, but after 6 months, it drove me nuts. But I quite liked Texas. I've never spent much time there, but we used to do a lot of drives when I was living in Vegas. When my missus come over, we'd take the car and we'd drive 3 days that way, 4 days. Sometimes we drive for a couple of weeks. We just go through places, and we drove through Texas a few times. I quite liked it. I like that. What do they call it? Chicken fried steak with the country sauce. That's bloody delicious. But no, I really liked Dallas. Stopped off in Dallas a couple of times. Had 3 nights one time and 2 nights another time. And surprised, because some of the states were a real disappointment. I thought, some of the places we went to that were famous were a real disappointment. The biggest two being, what do they call it? Bourbon Street in New Orleans. That was a disappointment. And so was Roswell in New Mexico. There's nothing there. Not that I'm into aliens, I just wanted to check it out. I thought there'd be loads of alien monuments, all this kind of stuff. And there was nothing there. Tiny place. Robert Crusader, £2,600, 18 months insurance, 64-year-old. Is that your insurance? Well, what does that get you? Who's that with? What does that get you? Is that complete coverage without a copay, or is that? I mean, yeah. Tell us more about that. See, that's not necessarily prohibitive, but it depends what coverage you get, isn't it? I mean, I think I mentioned in the last live stream, I could get a policy here with Pacific Cross through Michael Oxenstad, and that is 20,000 pesos for me, and it gives me up to $1 million in hospital treatment. And that makes sense. I should do it. I mean, that makes sense for me. That's not too much, and it covers you. But I always think, well, I'll self-insure, but I should actually take that out. But I've got a mate here who's, I think, 72, and he looked into it. I showed him the policy, but for him at his age, it was over £2,000. And as he said, there's no point paying £2,000 for 14,000 coverage. He's got a few quid, so he could pay it himself. But yeah, so it makes a huge difference in terms of age. Shane, I guess they want to collect taxes from spending, so they want them back. Might be, well, because I did know he says if you pay your pension contributions, in or out of the country, then it counts towards your national insurance pension. Sorry, I just looked it up. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. That's why I'm quite happy about the old YouTube thing and that now, because I can declare that. Well, I've got the rent coming in for the property anyway, but yeah, I want to keep paying my taxes, and that's why some people say if you've been out of the country, the thing you won't be entitled to national health when you go back. And I say, well, first of all, I haven't notified anyone I'm out of the country because I don't have to. There's no obligation for me to say I'm not in the country at the moment. And I can't say I've moved because I'm not. I'm a tourist. I'm a tourist on a long holiday. There is no rules on how long your holiday is. But if I was to go back to the UK and they were to say to me, oh, you're not entitled to healthcare because you've been out of the country, my answer would be, well, how can you do that? I'm paying tax. I'm paying my national insurance contributions. So how am I not entitled to it? But the point is, they won't ask you. It's never going to be an issue because doctors and that won't do that. I mean, they had that big thing when there was an argument that illegal immigrants or not, it wasn't illegal immigrants, and it was tourists, health tourism, that people were coming over and with diseases and then going, and the NHS was treating them, and the government at the time wanted the doctors and that to check their status and things, and the doctors said, no, we're not doing it. We have a Hippocratic oath. We're just going to treat you. So I don't think it'd ever be asked. And as I say, if you're paying your contributions and you've registered with GP, how the hell can they turn around and say you're not entitled to it? Vicky, I'm very glad you said that, Robert. You're starting to worry me. I'm glad you. Well done for double checking that. But I knew it was a thing. It's just, they would have to change it, and I don't know why they would change it. I don't know what it would do for them. It's like the old Brexit thing. A lot of expats didn't vote in Brexit because they didn't see the point, but they should have done, and they would have done, and it would have changed it. And I tell you now, I mean, Labour is going to struggle to win the next election. Most of the expats here are entitled, or in any country, are entitled to postal votes. Believe me, if they were pushing that, then you would have a few million votes coming in. I'd be voting against them, definitely. So I can't see it happening. Ricky, Phil Big World Cinema recently did video going to Malaysia for a complete health check. Cost him $276. That would be, yeah, I think you get that cheaper in Thailand, to be honest with you. But I don't know what they would do. All I know is I might have spoken about it before. I took a job in China a while back, and I had to have a complete medical to go. And I went back to the UK because I had to get my Z visa from the Chinese embassy. And you can't get done in the NHS. So I phoned a couple of private clinics and they'd do it, but they wanted like £800 or something like that, which I thought I'd have to pay, but they couldn't do it for like 2-3 weeks. And I was flying back in 5 days. I couldn't find anywhere that would do it. So I told the people I was working for, and they said, okay, we'll get it done when you come to China. But when I got back to a little village in Pedjabam, I thought one day, a few days before we go for the flight, there was a private hospital in Pedjabam. It wasn't a big place, but I'd been there when I'd hurt my hand. I'd been there a couple of times. So I went down there and I asked them if they could do it, and showed them the paperwork. And then she went off, and I thought she was going off to see if I can do it. And next thing you know, they come out of a wheelchair for me to go in. And they did it in and there, and I was done in 3 hours. And they did an ECG, they did an ultrasound, they did an HIV test, they did chest X-rays. I mean, they basically did everything. And it came to 3,200 pesos or something, baht, something like that. So, £80. So, I don't know what more you would do in the medical than that. And that's not so long ago. That's a lot less than 276. So, if I was going to have a full medical, maybe I'd do it in Thailand. If I was going to Thailand, I'm sure it would cost you a lot more in the Bangkok hospital in Pattaya or Bangkok or whatever. But, if it's just blood tests and things, and I'll never forget it. The thing that amazed me is they said, you'll have to have an AIDS test, the blood. I had to have an AIDS blood test. And they said, we're really sorry about this, sir, but it will take some time to get the results. And I thought they meant come back next day or whatever. And I said, well, how long are we talking about? And they said about half an hour. They were apologising about that. So when I had a coffee, yeah, I mean, that's how good it was. And that was just a small private hospital in a little town. Um, oh, Jack Star. I love buggies. Sure, we all do. You see, I tell you what, Shaney, you and Jack are getting on well. He's got a lot of buggies. Jack Star, I've never been to Texas, just the vibe, the people. Think it would be great adventure and look amazing. Really, you've not been there? I'm surprised by that, mate. I thought I know you're a very travelled man. I say I've never stayed there, but the last time we went there, I thought this would be good for a trip because can't remember the other place we went to. But there is a lot, when I've met people over here and I've spoken to them about it, and I've said like I like Dallas, and I can't remember the other bloody place we went to. They've said, "Oh, you got to go to Austin. You got this." It's like so. I mean, there seems to be a lot going on there because I always thought Nashville. I quite like country music these days, but I'm not a huge fan. But I did like the idea of going to Nashville, same as when we went to New Orleans. I like the idea of listening to the old Cajun music down on Devale Street. It's like it's an experience. And I always thought Nashville was the place, but talking to Brent and some of the guys over here, say that Austin is much better. It's a much bigger music city than Nashville. So I mean, yeah, I think it's got a lot. I do like the idea of opening a Texas barbecue in Dumagetti. May do it at some stage, but Robert Casida, I can send information if you like. The one proviso is that you start your insurance date in the UK. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I had travel insurance when I first came over here. A lot of them like that. You've got to go back to the UK and to get the policy. But mine did say could extend. I won't go the travel insurance route again because few people. I'm not one for small print, and a few people said you could only. I had like a year travel insurance. Um, you were limited to the time that you were in the country. And I never bothered looking into that afterwards because I already paid for it. And I thought, well, if I'm not covered, I'll start to panic. I'll just bury my head in the sand because there's no going back now. I bought the policy, but it didn't specify it in the main print, but maybe in the small print. But yeah, I think I will take uh, that policy. I've just got off my arse and do it and contact Michael because for 2,000, because his argument was the way he sells the policy to people. He said, look, if you get £1,000,000 coverage, that will cover the vast majority of things. There's not much that could happen to you in an accident or whatever over here. It's going to cost you more than £1,000,000. And he's the guy who knows. And what I like about him is he doesn't try and upsell you. Because I said to him, like, but this is in a ward. I don't mean I'd like the idea of a ward. How much for a private room? And he said, well, don't worry about that. He said, because if you do end up going in, you can just upgrade to a private room. It'll cost you like 500-600 pesos a day. But why pay for it now? Because you might not have an accident, which I loved. But his policy, as he advertised, was like, you get yourself patched up, you get yourself treated, then you go back to the UK. Because the reality is, mate, I wouldn't have surgery in that over here unless it was an emergency. I've been quite impressed with the healthcare over here in terms of the tests and that kind of thing, just based on my own experience. But if they turn around and said you need surgery or something like that, there is no way in hell that I would be having it done in the Philippines, rightly or wrongly. I'd be back to Blighty, see what they reckoned. Maybe to Thailand, I don't know. But appreciate the offer, Robert. Appreciate the offer. Jack Star. And the other good thing about Pacific Cross, I mean, if you're over here, mate, I don't know what company you're with. If you do have problems with your insurance company in the future, try get in touch with Michael Ostenstad if you've ever spoken to him, because I was put in touch with him by an expat friend, and he said this guy's got an excellent reputation because although he's an agent for Pacific Cross, he's got a team and they help. So he gives you a card to say that you're covered by him, and there's a phone number on it to phone, and it's not the phone number for Pacific Cross. It's the phone number for his team. I think he's got 2 nurses that work for him on 24-hour call or him, because sometimes the hospitals get funny about treatments, and if they phone your insurer, Pacific Cross, they might get difficult. but you don't. You phone Robert, who's the agent, and he always gets you in. My mate Soren told me about it, and he said like he's known a few people who've had problems who've been with Pacific Cross directly, and they've had trouble getting in, but never anyone with Michael Orsonstadt's card. He's just straight on the phone in the Philippines saying, "No, you've got to take them in. We'll take care of this, etc., etc." And Pacific Cross, they pay. There's no out payment. It's not like I think I might be wrong on this, but every other insurance company I've been told you have to pay first and then claim it back from the insurance company. You don't with Pacific Cross. They pay. They bill the hospital directly. The hospital bills them directly. Yeah. And I have no dog in this fight. I don't have the policy. I'm just saying that's what I've been told. It could be right. It could be wrong. But I've been told it by a few people, and they're all with him. They've all gone through him. Jackstar, yeah, as we are a very similar age, if anything was to change, it won't hit our age range, be the poor, but people behind us. Um, yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, unfortunately, Jack, that is the way I look at the world these days. Um, Probably a bit more difficult for you because you've got kids. But a lot of the stuff I look at now, I think the world's going to hell in a handcart, but I'll be gone by then. Because we are getting quite close to pension age, aren't we? You know what I mean? It's like, there are big debates. Is a pension still going to exist in 20, 30 years or whatever? Well, I'm probably not going to be here in 20, 30 years. Because I don't have kids, I kind of look at my own thing. But yeah, it will be. Gen Z are not having it very well. It's going to get worse. And what's the one before Gen Z? I was looking at that earlier on. I know the latest one is Gen Beta. What's the one before between Beta and Z? I don't know. The Archer is cool, blimey. Look what the cat dragged in. Yes, but I advertised it, mate. I said I was doing it. I will always do a live stream now on a Saturday night before the boxing. I might do some impromptu ones because sometimes I can't sleep. But yeah, I've got to start for the boxing. Can't wait. I'm very excited about this fight. I don't think I've been as excited about a fight since Tyson Usyk. Dave Allen fight was all right last week. I mean, I was looking forward to that because I like Dave Allen, but this is going to be a good fight. If anyone doesn't know, Fabio Wardley is fighting Joseph Parker, and it's going to be a good fight. Anyway, how are you, Archers? Jim Pendergrast, my friend spending 20 years in the Philippines, got his pension, no problem, and spent 3 months with us this year getting his health problems sorted out. Oh, I'm well behind. I better speed up now. Chat. No problems. Kept a UK address. Yeah, you won't, mate. They really aren't interested. I think I've said it before. When I went back, last time I was back in the UK and I registered with a doctor to get my prostate checked, I said to him, and I thought, as I said it, I thought, I said the wrong thing now because I told him I needed a prostate check. And he said, well, why do you think you've got prostate problems? And I said, well, I've been in Thailand the last couple of years and I had an ultrasound and they picked up on it and said it should get checked every year, but I've been busy and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, as I said that, is he going to say you've been there too? But he didn't say anything. He just said, fine, we'll pop in. I told you what he said about the finger. But wasn't remotely bothered. Didn't say, oh, well, how long have you been? Wasn't interested. And I've never, I mean, you've got to remember, I've been living out of the country. You include Las Vegas and, well, if you include Holland, and I've been out about 15 years. And I've been to see GPs a few times when I'm back in the UK, and no one has ever asked me where I've been or have I been out or whatever. I mean, it just doesn't come up in conversation, It's they just ask you how your health has been. Jackstar, I recommend people watch the vlog on your China job. Bloody love it. I wish people would, mate. I do like the views, but thanks, mate. I should do a few more stories, I think, of experiences in other countries because I've had a few. I just can't remember. I can't know what I can actually talk about in the channel. You know what I mean? But yeah, I must have had more. I've got to think about that. But yeah, China. Glad you enjoyed it, mate. Glad you enjoyed it. That's a place and a half, that is. Cheney 7766. If you come in the Philippines, got to have stuffs in order. I see many foreign in Makati, BCG, not so much dollar. It's not cheap and no job and less specific things. Yeah, no, it's good advice, Shaney. If you guys, particularly if you're going to those places. because they're more expensive. And I think the Healthcare Act's probably a bit more cutthroat, more about the money. Might be wrong about that, but yeah. To be fair, you keep hearing these stories about these destitute expats who come over here and don't have any money and they're broke and they can't do this and they can't do that. I know they exist because you see them on like the vlogs and things, but I've never come across any here. Came across quite a few in Pattaya, but never seen any in Dumaguete. Um, I mean, some people have more money than others, but I don't know anyone that's like, struggling to eat out or do whatever. But then again, if they were, I probably wouldn't meet them because they're not going out. But there you go. I remember Ewan saying to me once, the guy who owns Sideways, he gets up early in the morning to go and open the bar, and he sees hundreds of expats, older chaps, taking their kids to school and things, and he's never seen them before. And he thinks, where do they go? Because they don't come to his bar. It's easy to think when you move in certain circles that you know everyone in the city or whatever. But as he said, there are hundreds that just must take their kids to school, garden, or go to a coffee shop or whatever that you'll never meet. And obviously, me, I don't get up that early. I don't drive, so I'll never see them. So maybe there are lots of destitute people I don't know about. Kids are expensive here. I have noticed that. Jack Star, bloody hell, 2-0 down. I didn't know you were a Liverpool fan, mate. I didn't know that. Jim Pendergrass, come on, you bees. Are you really? I know they're your local team, but are you really a Brentford fan, Jim? Or are you just winding up, Jack? Shaney 7766. No Bucky's is a gas station in Texas. So cool. There you go. I did not know that. The Archers. Where is the lovely Ellen? She's hard at work, mate, earning a crust. She's in a little office talking to Americans, invading their privacy and asking them intrusive questions about their political views. What she does. She started early this morning, 2 a.m. And her daughter, Kayla, is staying with us at the moment. It's school holidays, so she arrived today. And she is in the office with her because we've only got 2 bedrooms. So she's in there, and Ellen has turned the bedroom into an office. And she's asleep in the bed, and Ellen is, la, 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 la. Kid just sleeps through it. It always amazes me, kids. They sleep so heavily. Jackstar, only been to NYC a lot and Boston skiing twice. Well, there you go. I've been to 27 states in America. I have never been to New York. Never been to New York. It never appealed to me. But that's probably one of my own regrets. I can't see myself going back to America anytime soon, but I just never appealed to me. But I wish I had done now. But the trouble is, I was in Vegas and Key West. They're the 2 places I spent most time. So I did a lot of like driving. New York was always too far away. But a couple of times I had friends who like went to New York for a weekend because what is it, only 7-8 hour flight or something like that. So you're going to come to New York for a weekend, going to go to Atlantic City or whatever. I thought, no, I don't fancy it. Wish I had done now. How did you find New York, Jack? Did you enjoy it? When you're coming from London, the idea of going to New York just didn't appeal because I've heard the people are rude. I thought the people are rude in London. You go to places like Rome and Paris and that for the history and the culture. New York's such a big city. You think, what is going to be there? It's going to be crowded like London. It's going to have like big skyscraper. I can get them where I am, and you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't mean to do New York down. Maybe it's great, mate. I would like to have gone to, was it Studio 51 or Studio 54? But anyway, yeah, not been in New York. Chinese 7766. Ooh, Nashville, you got to go Tootsie, LOL. Sometimes famous ones play there, just random. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I know. I've always thought Nashville would be a good place to go, and we thought about it. We came very close a couple of times because it was. I think it'd only been about. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but it wasn't more than a day's drive when we were last in New Orleans. But we decided to head up into Florida instead. But should have gone. Should have tried that. I'd say Austin. Apparently, Austin. Can't remember what they said. Nashville is more for the traditional country now. Austin is more for the more modern stuff and the bigger stars, or it's the other way around. I can't remember, but apparently they're both huge meccas for country. Austin has taken over as the main one. but they concentrate in different genres, I believe. Might be wrong, don't know. Robert Crusader, the policy is for 550 days cover, 15 million of healthcare, and you fly, you home, etc. A lot of the 1 year policies are for 90 days at a time for 1 year. Okay, I might have to look into that, mate. Seems expensive, but I'm guessing you're a little bit older than I am, so my rates will probably be a bit cheaper. But to be honest with you, the 15 million healthcare and that, it's a load of nonsense. I think I got a ridiculous coverage like that. I can't remember what it was. I went with a AAA policy because it meant you could, you know, some of the cheaper policies, was it 4A? I don't know. It was the best policy. You know, they rate them on Travel Supermarket because some of the cheaper ones, like 3-star and that, you could only go to certain hospitals and things. But when I was looking at the ridiculous amount of cover, I mean, when are you ever going to need 15 million pesos of cover in the Philippines? I mean, they could make it 100 million. You're never going to use it, are you? What company is that with, out of interest? Honestly, uninterested. They used to be pro baseball back in England. My dad played for Leeds decades ago in Birmingham. Are you sure? Pro baseball in the UK? I find that very hard to believe. What do you say, English people? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're making it up, but there are very few pro sports. There's not enough people go to it. I mean, most are like, you know, the smaller football teams, they're semi-pro. There were enough people in Leeds to make a living and have a stadium in that out of baseball. What do you think, chaps? Has anyone heard that before? That seems incredible. Jack Star got one back, Jim. Thank God. Oh, a goal. I thought, what are you talking about? 2-1. Yeah, you could turn it around, mate. You could turn it around. How long is left? Jim, glad for your team, Jack Star. Jim, you didn't answer the question. Are you actually a Bees fan, or you just have an affection for them because they're local? Jack Star, we need it, Jim. We had a good win in the week, but very flaky defence. God, don't talk about flaky defence, mate. You look at West Ham. We're going down, relegated. I said it at the start of the season. We go down in that stadium, we're screwed. It could be the end of us as a club, which is a terrible state of affairs. Jack Star, Robert, who's that? Very interesting indeed. Water G's, greetings from rainy Belgium. Greetings, Ruta. How are you? How's life in Bruges? Raining, I guess. Honestly, uninterested. New York City is overwhelming and expensive. Once was enough. Yeah, I imagine it's quite pricey. But this is a few years ago. All cities are big cities are expensive. But yeah, couldn't think of a single thing I would want to do there. You know, in terms of like, you know, most things are, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to go there. Apparently, the nightlife was good. The guys that I know, they went a few times. They like, you know, the nightlife. But it's a long way to go just for a night out. You know, when there's other places in the world with great nightlife. But I know, you know, excitement about seeing the Empire State Building or seeing the Statue of Liberty or whatever. You know, I feel like I've seen them enough on the TV. Jim Pendergrast was as a kid, late 50s, haven't been since. Never thought they would be in the Premier League. Was just over Kew Bridge, and we lived at Kew. Really? Wow! I don't know. For some reason I had you down for QPR fan. Do not know why. We've never talked about football before, have we? That's strange. I had you down as a QPR fan. No reason why you would be. The art chairs. You've seen one streaming crowded mess, Manila, New York, Mexico City, etc. You've seen them all. Noisy, bad air. They're all a waste of time. Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. I hear you. Don't disagree with that, to be honest with you. Although Jack Star's about to disagree with that. Yeah, love NYC. Best time this year with my two beautiful daughters. But of course you went, well, I'm an idiot, and I forgot about that, yeah. So what do you do? I mean, yeah, because of course you went to Broadway and that, didn't you? Yeah, I suppose, yeah, with the daughters and that, you know, yeah. You got sent because you I remember you saying you were near Central Park, weren't you? And you went to Broadway with them, yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, see, I'm giving it a bad press. If you're into that kind of thing, I suppose the attraction is you can go to a top restaurant, you can go and see a Broadway show. Um, yeah, and if you want to go up the Statue of Liberty, you can look down on that. And people do didn't you do a helicopter tour of it? Have I got that mixed up? I think you were going to do a helicopter tour, weren't you? All for one, scam definition, a dishonest scheme. Okay. Well, thanks for the education there, all for one. Jack Star, hey Rooter, welcome. You're always a friendly guy, Jack. Jack Star, hit the likes, peeps, share the love. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Wouldn't it be fantastic if people hit the likes and shared the love? I'm all for love. I'm all for likes. Thanks, Jack. Lester Bangs, Vitali's been quoted 30 million for a head transplant in Manila. Yeah, he is. Thing that makes me laugh is, well, it don't make me laugh. Ellen thinks it's ridiculous, but I don't think it's so ridiculous. But she was saying, well, why is his cameraman not been arrested yet? And well, he hasn't been arrested yet because he hasn't been caught. But some people said in the comments, notice how he hasn't. They're not doing anything to the cameraman. They just want to make an example of Vitali because he's a Westerner. And that may be true. It may not be. But I think as long as he sorted his hair out and dyed it, I don't think it would be that hard to hide in the Philippines. You know what I mean? It's lots of towns, lots of islands, lots of cities. You know, if you wanted to go on and run it, I mean, obviously it'd be difficult for me because look at me, I am Caucasian, but Ellen can't believe they can't find him. I don't know. I've never really thought about it, but or maybe they don't care. Maybe they really don't care about him. But he's not been caught yet, apparently. Timmy, what do you think of Jim Asia Dexel vlogs? He's going gangbusters now. He's finally cottoned on his wife was a Viber. No idea. Don't watch his channel, mate. As I've said many times on his channel, I don't really watch YouTube vlogs. I'm on the Philippines. I'm busy doing other things, and the time I do have to watch stuff, I tend to watch, football vlogs, politics, that kind of thing. Because the vlogs are great in my experience. They're the reason I moved here. If it hadn't been for Mark and Old Dog, I'd never have even known Dumagetti was a place. But once you're here, it's not that interesting. You know, there's only so much you can learn. There's not a lot they can tell me that's going to be useful for me living in Dumagetti. And in terms of people having affairs and this and that happening, well, I get that when I go out. You know, there's always someone who's got a domestic crisis or whatever. You know, these are people I know. So, you know, I'm not knocking. I understand if people are outside the country, you know, they want to know about the Philippines. They get, you know, hooked on this stuff. I'm sure he's got a great channel, but, you know, it's not really. And a few people have said to me, like, what do you think about Gio, the way he treated his missus, or, you know, Mark Thornton's woman and that. And I'm like, I have no opinion. You know, it's not, you know, I don't know anything about it. I've not taken any interest, you know what I mean? So in answer to your question, I don't think anything. I don't know who the guy is. Walter, Thursday departing to Cebu, flying with Cathay Pacific from Brussels. Well, that'd be a good flight. They've got an excellent reputation, Cathay Pacific. They're supposed to be Cathay Pacific and Qantas a few years ago. They're supposed to be the two best airlines in the world. Shaney 7766 back was amazing. LOL. So fast here compared to the Philippines. I think I'm getting older. I'm struggling to keep up with what we're talking about. Back was amazing. LOL. So fast here compared to the Philippines. You know? Vicky, Gio has been trashing Philippines so much. It's kind of starting to put me off. Well, he probably has, mate. There's a thing called attribution theory. It's a psychological theory, and it's quite normal. It's a very common phenomenon. Like, you know, if you're debating about buying a car and you're not sure whether to buy a Ford Fiesta or a Renault Clio or whatever, you'll go through a stage of cognitive dissonance where you can't decide which. But then when you actually make the decision, attribution theory kicks in and you convince yourself that you made the right decision, that, yeah, you should have got the Clio was better than, etc., etc. And that's probably what's happened with him, you know, or happening. He's at that stage. He's got, I mean, I don't watch his content, I've got no idea, but he's gone to Thailand. He's made a decision. So in his mind, he's justifying it and criticizing the Philippines, you know. Or maybe he thinks it's better. I don't know. So I don't watch the guy, no idea. I watched him a couple of times, many. It just wasn't for me. A lot of people like him. He's got a much bigger following than me, but I just found him damn boring, to be honest with you. But I'm sure some people find me boring. I'm sure most people find me boring. Um, Shaney7766. My bestie works at immigration. They're making examples because they don't want these people. Plus, OG4 guy in Korea made worse for him, Johnny Somali. They do some prosecutions. Yeah, John, and I'll tell you, I said the other day, Johnny Somali is worse than some of the stuff that he's actually, believe it or not, worse than Vitali. But he will get swift justice over there. I mean, they've got, I would imagine, a much smoother system over there. He's going to get done, but he ain't going to spend 24 years in prison. I don't know what he'll get, and the prisons will be better conditions. But no, yeah, if he'd come to the Philippines, that Somali guy, I could. When I watched the first time I watched Vitali, I thought this guy is just the biggest arsehole I've ever seen. And then someone said, watch Somali. He's even bigger. That guy, how he's still alive, I do not know. I'm surprised no one has ended him just because of his personality and the way he is. He's a prize, an absolute prize. Shaney7766, Amazon shopping equals Amazoning. Oh no, I got the Amazoning. It was the back bit that confused me. Back was Amazon. Oh, got you. Now I get you. It was the back that confused me. Jack Star, as they should, Shaney. He's a vile individual. Yeah, he is a vile individual, Jack. You're right. Yeah. As I said, I don't have any sympathy for him. Really. Like I don't actually. No, I don't. I don't have any sympathy for him. I just imagine he fascinates me because you just think, well, there, but for the grace of God. I mean, I'm not going to behave like that. But what happened if I was there? How would I cope with that? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but yeah, he deserves it. He deserves it. Mickey, I feel Gio is still in the honeymoon stage of being in Thailand. Of course he is. Of course he is, mate. Of course he is. Of course he is. Yeah. And and to be honest with you, from what people have said about him, I don't think he knows shit. I don't watch his channel, but some of the people he's saying Bangkok is so much cheaper than Dumaguete and Bacolod and all this, and you can't get that. And you just sit and thinking, mate, it doesn't. It isn't. You don't know. A few people have said, Gio saying this. What do you think? And I just say, well, I don't watch him, but he's wrong. He's point blank wrong. Because things like costs now aren't subjective. I mean, they are realities. But there you go. Leicester Bangs, Joseph Parker for Fabio Wardley tonight. Interesting scrap. Fancy Parker to win by KO in the later rounds. Ring walk at 10 p.m. GMT. Yes, Leicester, that is why I'm up, mate. I am up. I always do a vlog. I started doing a live stream before the fight because I did one last week, a couple of weeks back before Dave Allen Medlovov because it keeps me awake. I fancy Parker. It's hard not to fancy Parker, particularly the way Fabio performed against Hooney in his last fight. He's got the power. I see Parker winning on points. I can't see how Fabio Wardley can beat him. But then again, something in the back of my mind says maybe he will. Maybe he will. I mean, his punch is an equaliser. And Parker's coming. I don't like the way Parker's coming weight wise. To me, he's 20 pounds heavier than he should be. I don't get what he's trying to achieve with that. I get it when he fought Bacoli coming in heavy. But why stay at that weight for Wardley? I mean, that doesn't make any sense because he's going to lose his speed. So when I saw them at the weigh-in, and I saw it coming at 260 plus, got me wondering now. Because you can only assume he's going to try and outmuscle, he's going to try and outpunch him at that weight. And that's a dangerous thing to do with Wardley. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know since Parker's gone with Andy Lee, they're working on the power punches and he sets his feet more these days. But I don't know. It's going to be. So don't see the sense. And if it is going to go the distance, it's not going to help you if you're carrying an extra 20 plus pounds. And Wardley does. Anyway, we'll see. The Archers, have you thought of doing any community work? Maybe make some dinners and passing them around to locals in need. You and Ella could do something like that when your Christmas is near. Just a thought. Um, no, I haven't planned doing that, mate. I think you think I'm a better person than I am. No, hadn't. Probably makes me a bad person for not thinking of doing that, but no, I hadn't. Um, maybe I should. Uh, Food for thought. Shaney, 7766. In careers, they've got foreign only jail, so that's why he okay. Do they really? They've got one for the foreigners. Um, I'm surprised that Vitali's not in solitary. I must admit. You'd think in the UK, a high-profile prisoner like that, they would they'd want to keep him safe because they wouldn't want the bad publicity. But it would have, if something happened to him. See Nicolas Sarkozy. Have you all seen that French president? He's gone to prison for 5 years. He's in solitary. That's a long stretch. 5 years in solitary. I don't know if he'll do the full five. Oh, mate, he's gone to prison. It's nice to see a country actually hold politicians to account. Can't see an ex-prime minister going to prison in the UK, can you? I can't see a president in America. I quite like Sarkozy. I thought he was quite a funny guy, but there you go. Ricky, Vitali's a multi-millionaire. Thought he would be able to bribe his way out of the Philippines. Well, that's why I said at the time. A lot of people said, "Oh, he'll buy himself out." I think he's in a difficult situation because, yeah, he has got the money. Under normal circumstances, if he'd committed a different offence and he hadn't had the high-profile coverage, angered the population, yeah, he would be, mate. He would. Case would collapse or he'd get out or whatever. But when you've got the Philippine president saying online, we are going to make an example of him, and that's what he actually said, and you've got a couple of the lead prosecutors now, I don't think he can. I think they have decided there is more value in terms of political value and a deterrent from people coming over here, that they'll get him out of there. I mean, someone said in the comments, he's got the money, he'll get out, don't be stupid. He just hasn't bribed the right person yet. Well, who can he bribe that is higher authority than the president? I don't see who he can bribe. I mean, it may well be that he gets like a 10-year sentence or a 12-year sentence and everyone sees justice is done and then he gets himself out after a couple of years or whatever. But it's not, that's what's fascinating about the case. It's not your normal case. Or maybe he just won't go. And I've said this story before. A lot of people in Thai prisons who are supposed to be in prison aren't actually in prison. My mate Kevin, when he got arrested, he got done over there for overstay. And the day he got sent down, he went down with there was a high-profile drug case in Pattaya, and these 6 guys got sentenced for long sentences. I don't know what it was, 10, 20, 30 years or whatever. And he went in the same day as them. And it's a true story. He told me that. I knew another guy was in at the time, Steve, verified it. They went in, got allocated their stuff, etc. Went into the thing that night, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. 6 guys turned up to do their stretch for them, and they just left. And then every month, the 6 guys would swap over. Kev was in there for 4 or 5 months, and the guys who got sentenced were never there. They'd be back. I don't know if they left the country or where they went. And it's like, what's his name? Can't pronounce his name now. Chisawaka. I can't think how you pronounce his name. What's right? Anyway, the last, his daughter just got forced out. Why can't I remember his name? He used to own Man City. Anyway, the president of Thailand, Prime Minister of Thailand, he got sentenced to a year when he came back. And now there's a big investigation because he didn't do it. He didn't turn up. He wasn't there. Someone else was doing it for him. So under normal circumstances, I think that is what would happen here. Or something along those lines. But how the hell do you let Vitali out? I mean, the bloke's a lunatic. He'll start streaming, saying like, I'm out. I mean, you know what I mean? So they can't even do that with him. So I don't know what's going to happen. Walter, Ricky, Gio is buried in the golden cage of Sukhumvit. He has no clue what happens at the end of his soy. Did he ride already on a boat? Close on Samid? I don't know. Anyway, you're not talking to me. He's talking. I can't answer any of those questions. But you're not talking to me. You're talking to Ricky. Shaney 7766. Ricky, not this time because it's embarrassing the country. There you go. You see, that's it. It's an unusual case. I mean, someone gets done with a big smuggling case or something like that. your average Thai, your Filipino is going to look at it and, you know, they're not really going to give it much thought. They're going to say they've got the guy and that's it. And, you know, if the guy buys himself out a couple of months or a year down the line, who's going to bat an eyelid? Who's thinking about that case? But this, you know, there would be an outcry if he was suddenly released. You know, and the guy that gets him the biggest sentence, if he runs for office, he can run to office on the back of that. Whichever way you look at it, Vitali is proper screwed. That start. So, what boxing are you watching and thoughts on the late Mr. Hatton? I'm watching the Wardley Parker fight. It's an eliminator for the world title. You should watch it, Jack. Going to be a hell of a fight, mate. Hell of a fight. I think everyone's in agreement. Most people agree that Parker's going to win it. Most of the pundits I've said think that. I know Derek Chisora thinks Wardley's going to knock him out, but everyone's in agreement it's going to be a good fight because they both come to fight, you know, and they've both got a lot on the line. And Parker's brave, and Wardley doesn't take a backward step. You know, he'll be going for the knockout, so it'll be a good fight. Thoughts on late Mr. Hatton? Very sad. I saw Ricky fight a few times in Vegas, and it was fantastic. Never been to follow a fighter overseas who had the support he had. And great fighter. He will be missed. Very sad that he ended himself. It'd be sad if any boxer did that, but particularly him. It was quite. I shed a tear when I was watching the old funeral online when Adam Smith started. You know, gave his eulogy. But yeah, it's just a shame, just a waste. But apparently, he'd always battled with depression, and it's strange because he was training for a fight. He was going to go on that Misfits, wasn't he? So you think getting back in shape and the old endorphins released from the training would put you in a good place. But yeah, sad loss, mate. Faney 7766. Yes, the jail is 1 hour south of Seoul. There you go. Did not know that. Interesting. They've got that. If they've got a prison dedicated just for foreigners, there must be a lot of foreigners in prison in South Korea. But I don't know. It's interesting that he thought he could get away with it, Vitali, because that's what I said the first time I did the video. What amazed me is how he got away with acting like that. How the security guards didn't, you know, do anything to him. I think the Filipino people are so nice and so non-confrontational on the whole that it gives some people the idea they can do whatever they want. Because if he tried that in South Korea or he tried that in Thailand, he would not have lasted long. If he'd gone up to police and tried to steal a bike or gone up to security guards and started like knocking their hats off or whatever, I'm telling you now, he would have got banged. And then people who know in Thailand will tell you, the second a Thai gets in a confrontation with a Westerner, every other Thai jumps in. I've heard it's the same in the Philippines. I mean, I've got no intention of getting in any arguments with Filipinos, but I remember the Filipino peace saying once, like, you know, avoid contact with drunk Filipinos because, you know, you might think you're bigger or whatever, but sometimes they'll become aggressive and you hit one, they'll all jump in and none of the expats will help you, even if they're your friends. I don't know if that's true, but I'd jump in. I mean, if it was one of my friends, you know, and he was in a fight, a load of Filipinos jumped in, I'd jump in. But hopefully that will never happen. I mean, not going to leave your mate alone, are you? But anyway, she reckoned that happens. I don't know. But certainly he would not have got away with that in that's what I don't get about that Somali guy. Why he thought he could get away with that in South Korea is beyond me. I mean, they're proud cultures. And he got punched a few times. I mean, that's one I've watched his video. I mean, that Somali guy, he goes out and about, he's doing stuff. He got dropped by a Westerner. Then he came out of the hotel and some South Korean guy had seen his vlogs and he knocked the shit out of him. You know, the guy's a fool. It's not like you wouldn't do it in Japan. There are certain countries in the world you do not behave that way. But there you go. Timmy, none of these politicians are in the clink, as you know well. It's all show for the polls. Well, Sarkozy's in prison, mate. Shaney 76. I sounds fake, but I've been a lot of places. The city name is Chiananan. Most prisons in Southeast Asia, not many Western people. You don't sound fake at all. You said before you work in finance, you travel for your job. It's interesting. So they're not Westerners, then they're Southeast Asian. Okay, so it's not just Western people; it's basically any non Korean citizens. I wonder what the conditions are like. I've seen a few documentaries on the old Chinese prisons, and I read a book. Can't remember what the guy's name was. Icky. He was a Chelsea hooligan. He opened a bar in Bangkok. Was it his book? Anyway, someone's book, and they spent a bit of time in a Japanese prison, and it's incredible. Got to be quiet. You've got to be silent all the time. Can't make any noise there, and you've got to like all these things. That, like you have to these little mats, and it's just complete silence. And it just seemed like a strange. There's a documentary on YouTube on the Japanese prisons. They are something else. Jack Star, no Shaney, you seem well travelled. I share your sentiments, Jack. She seems well travelled. I think that's exactly what she is. Anyway, I'm going to. The boxing's on in half an hour, so I will finish in the next 10 or 20, 15, 20 minutes. Unless you guys want me to go now. What are you up to? Tell me about yourselves. What are you doing for the rest of the weekend? What's the time in Blighty now? Let me have a little check. Well, I don't need to check, do I? It's 4:30, so it'll be 9:30 there. No, it won't be. I do need to check. My maths is abysmal. I'm tired. Yeah, it is. I said 9:30. It's 21:28 there. My maths wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Why aren't you out in the town, Jack? Too busy working on your business plans? Yeah. What are you people doing? What do you got planned for Sunday? And how cold is it in Blighty at the moment? I've lost my page now. And people have stopped talking to me. Who hate an embarrassed silence? Not sure what we're doing this week. Not sure if I'm going to go to the quiz on Monday. Not sure what we're going to do with Kayla. I think there'll be a few trips to Jollibee and McDonald's and that kind of thing. Kids do love their fast food restaurants. Jack Star is 3-1 time. Oh, that's I don't think you're coming back with that from that, Jack. How much longer have you got? How much left in play? Jim, good night all. Good night, James. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your Sunday, mate. Be lucky. Walter, weekend activity. We just taught 86-year young dad to work with a new smartphone. It worked. Wow, that's an impressive feat. I don't think I would even venture doing that. Last time I was back in the UK, I was an elderly relative. He was 81. He asked me what an algorithm was, and I thought, what's a polite way of saying I ain't going to be able to explain this to you? Because I'm not sure. I've got a rough idea, but not enough. And yeah, it was a difficult conversation. Mind you, trying to explain cryptocurrency to my parents last time I was back was difficult as well. And I'm no expert on it. I understand the principle of it, but they wouldn't accept it. But there you go. Cheney 7766. It's much better than the Philippine Thai prison, but not comfortable as it should be. Yeah. Yeah, the Japanese prisons sounded different. I mean, didn't sound like a pleasant experience, but it looked a lot better than a Thai or a Philippine prison. Yeah, I couldn't. Jackstar, good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. Jackstar, 30 minutes. Ricky, you're a good geezer, even though you support the Hammers. Well, it's very nice of you to say so, Ricky. I appreciate that, mate. You sound like a good geezer, even if you're one of them. I had a mate, he's passed away now, Doug bless him. He would never say the Millwall name. He'd say them. He would never say the name. Well, look, Jim's going, Jack Star's going. So I think I will sign off now. Not just because they're going. But Jack, anyway, before you go, brother, thank you so much for the super chat. It is really much appreciated. But the fact that I said I was going and people started saying goodbye gives me the feeling that I might have gone on too long. and my coffee is empty, and the ring walk is supposed to be between 5 and 5:30. So just on the off chance it's 5, I better make myself another coffee and get myself ready and prepared. Put my gloves on. Walter, Ricky, have a good night and weekend. Thank you, Ricky. You too, mate. Water cravings, real fish and chips. Yeah, I would like some real fish and chips. You get some good fish in batter here. Can't get the chip shop chips you get in the UK. But I also miss Belgian fries and mayonnaise. Telling Ellen, there is no better fries in the world than Belgian fries. So anyway, Shaney, thank you so much for the super chat, Shaney. Thank you so much, Jack, for the super chat. Very much appreciated, both of you. Glad you joined us again, Shaney. And I'm glad Jack was here. I wasn't sure who would be up this time of night. I thought most of you people would be in the UK, would be out partying. But you weren't, which is good. The Archers, have a good day, Simon, and the lovely absent Ellen. Thanks, mate. You too. Take care, brother. Right. I'm going. Shaney, yes, sir. Have a great day. Don't have to call me sir. It's very formal of you, Shaney. You're part of the speaking of Asia family now. Well, first names are fine. Right, I'm off then, people. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you did and you haven't smashed the like button, please smash it. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be fantastic if you did. But whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe. Be lucky.